Welcome back to Girl at the Con. Welcome back to Girl at the Con. I shot this a couple of months ago, apparently, or more. I may have even shot it like right after I came back from WonderCon. I am blown away because I completely forgot that I did it, so I sat down today to do this video and realized it was already done. So you tell me how you like it. I cannot improve if nobody tells me what I'm doing wrong, so definitely leave a comment, and I will see you at the end. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. I just got back from WonderCon, as you can see by my lovely shirt, and woo boy, it was a ride. Nothing bad happened. It was just a lot of a lot. So let's get into it and check it out. All right, so day one, we got up really early. Journey, it's about 6:50. It's kind of early for me on a normal day, but you know, it's convention, so whatever. So next step, road trip. So typically we take the train, but if you'd watched any sort of the news over the fall and the winter, you would see that Southern California got a lot of rain, a lot of rain. So the tracks were all washed out and they were repairing the tracks for the trains, and those didn't get repaired until a day or two before the convention. So we had to find alternate transportation up. Thankfully, my friend Rich was super nice and he agreed to take us up as long as we paid him about $100 to do that. So we got started pretty early. We picked me up, then Ellie, then Kyle. Then we had to hit Starbucks because coffee. Anytime you start a day that early, caffeine is a major thing to do.
Coffee acquired.
So we went and got coffee, and then we started our trek up the California coast. The first, I always have to point out the lovely San Onofre titties, or boobies, depending on how you choose to reference them. If you don't know, these are a nuclear power plant. I think it is now defunct. It may still be running, I don't know. In Southern California. It is impossible to leave San Diego without passing these particular items. So we have to just give a shout out to the San Onofre titties. Anyway, after that, it was smooth sailing all the way up to Anaheim. No real traffic. I mean, we were leaving kind of early. Anaheim is well before you're gonna get to any sort of like LA traffic. So we really didn't have any of that, and we just sort of breezed right up, and we're at our hotel in record time. We couldn't check into our hotel because we didn't have a check-in until 4 o'clock. So we just left our stuff with the bell desk and had them park the car. In a situation like Comic-Con or WonderCon, if valet is an option, just have them park the car. Just spend the extra couple dollars and just have them park the car. It saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of energy of, you know, going up, oh, can't park there, that's too small, and just, yeah, so we just paid to have them park the car, and we got what we needed out for the day and headed off to the convention. First step, getting our badge. All of that went really easy. Comic-Con just makes it super simple. I couldn't find the barcode for somebody. They just looked it up by our name, specifically my name, because we had a panel and a bunch of people registered under me. That went super efficiently and easy. We broke up a little to go off and do some other things. Through various doings of stuff, I missed the Star Trek photo shoot, and I only managed to get one picture, and that was of Rich standing on the fountain. The fountain is where all of the photo shoots during WonderCon typically happen, except for when it rains. But we'll get into that in day two. So after doing that, Rich and I went inside. Most of my friends have panels and other stuff that they like to do, so Rich and I were just wandering around. We, of course, found these lovely dresses. I got mine. Rich did not get his. He said that he didn't fill it out as well as he would like, but I think he looks fetching in it. Tell me what you think down below. Hi. I'm trying on this beautiful dress, and oh my god, it's got pockets!
Wait, do it again?
It's got pockets! Pockets! Maybe at the next convention I can convince him to buy it. After that, we just sort of wandered around, did some shopping. I got some fabulous dice from my favorite dice makers, Kraken Dice. So I highly recommend checking them out. I'll leave a link in the description. Kyle got a hold of us and he wanted to have lunch. So if you are unaware, if you've never been to WonderCon, there is a plaza right in front of the fountain. Like the convention center, the fountain, and then this like plaza that is between the Hilton and the Marriott. Now, this area, Comic-Con / WonderCon, gets food trucks to line that area so that there's food at the convention for us without us having to go buy the food inside or having us to go to one of the hotels. It's great. I found a place that was doing donors. Not quite as great as the donors I had when I was in Germany, but pretty darn good. And Kyle got something, and I think Rich got something. I can't remember. But then we all just went into, because there was nowhere to sit, we went into the hotel and we found a spot in the hotel and we hung out there and ate. And then it was time to check into the hotel. So we checked in, we went upstairs. We have a fairly decent-sized room. It's pretty standard. It was just 2 queens. We did try and fit another queen air mattress in there, and that was a tight fit, but we did manage to get it. Got some really nice bath products. I don't think I have footage of those, but they had some really nice bath products in the bathroom, and after that, it was time for dinner. We were all pretty hungry, even those of us who had stopped to have lunch. So we went off to the Cheesecake Factory and had amazing, probably one of the best shepherd's pies that I'd had in a long, long time. Not really a shepherd's pie, but that's my own beef with history and people misnaming stuff. If you want an explanation, it'll be in the description if I remember. Kyle got a nosebleed. I don't have footage of that because I was too busy dealing with the insane amount of blood coming out of this poor man's nose. So I ran inside, got napkins. We managed to keep it more or less contained until we got back to the hotel. They were nice enough to call paramedics because we couldn't find like an EMT or a proper like doctor or nurse or something. They took care of him for a little bit. He ended up not going to the hospital, but it was long and it was a lot. It was a lot of blood and it went on for easily about a half hour. Thankfully, after this, I didn't hear about any more nosebleeds. And if I did, I blocked it out of my memory. After that, that was kind of stressful and it went on for, half an hour, 45 minutes. So once that was all over, it was time to go to 10 Forward. I love 10 Forward. 10 Forward is WonderCon's con suite. Super nice. It is basically set up sort of like a 10 Forward. They play games there where you can win certain prizes, and there are chips and various things like that. Very nice, very fun. And the host is Guinan, who looks very much like Guinan, which helps. We hung out there for a little bit, went downstairs to where LobbyCon was going on. LobbyCon is essentially the convention at the Hilton. It only takes place in lobby, and it really only takes place at night. It's when everybody goes to down there and they get drinks and they hang out in various places in the lobby and they chat and they interact with each other, and it's LobbyCon. I don't know how else to describe it. If you go, come and join us. So after LobbyCon, we went upstairs and just kind of chilled for the rest of the night. Yeah. So once we finally went to bed, that was kind of a problem for me. 2 of the people in our room snore like the worst. I love them. I will not call them out here. They know who they are. We've already had this discussion. Trust me when I tell you that this is not news to them. Anyway, I didn't get a lot of sleep because I was essentially in between these 2 people all night. And at about 3 a.m., I got up to go downstairs because it was supposed to be raining. And so I went downstairs and I spent time just out in the wind and the rain. The hotel has like a covered, like where you pull up to the hotel is covered. So it was easy to just sort of go and stand there and in my pajamas and my combat boots, just watching the rain and the wind, and it was really soothing and really relaxing. Then I came in, talked to the security for a little bit, I talked to the night auditors for a little bit before I finally went upstairs and tried to go back to sleep. So day 2 got off to a rough start for me. So after everybody sort of got up and kind of headed out, I didn't have any place to be until 11, so I was moving a little slowly, and I hadn't gotten a lot of sleep, so I was again moving kind of slowly. I did one of the stupidest things I think I've ever done in my life because I hadn't gotten a lot of sleep, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I have been breaking in a new pair of combat boots. You should never break in boots at a convention. That is a pro tip. Pro comic book convention tip. Pro tip. Do not break in shoes at a convention. You will end up with blisters. I forgot my scissors to cut my moleskin. I hate to say this. I really hate saying this. I have this nail care kit that has got a sharp-edged instrument, which there's a picture of. It is probably for cutting off calluses or for trimming some sort of facial hair in men or something. I don't know. I found it and I was like, oh great, this will work. It was not until that tool went through the moleskin, through my leg, or I should say through my jeans and into my leg, that I was like, wow, I really shouldn't be doing this on my thigh. Thankfully, it wasn't deep enough to require stitches, but it was fairly deep. Yeah, that was not smart. I finished cutting my moleskin on the table where I should have been cutting it to begin with. Anyway, I got dressed and I ran over to the fine people over at Condor who had a sewing kit and were doing cosplay repair, and I asked them to repair my jeans because I only had one pair of jeans. But I didn't bring two, and I ended up with a hole in one and a hole in my leg. Pro tip, don't cut moleskin on your thigh. That is dumb. And always bring two pairs of jeans. Pro tip. So after doing that, I met up with my friends Ashley and Lukas, and we played games. The gaming area at Comic-Con and WonderCon is pretty nice because it is fairly sizable. In it, you have the possibility to play demo games with a company that is there teaching people how to play their game in hopes that you will enjoy it enough to buy their game. And there will be games that are just tabletop games that they have. You check those out, you play for an hour or two or whatever, and then you turn it back in, you go about your way. They also have D&D that you have to sign up for. And at Comic-Con, they also have miniature painting, which is a lot of fun. I highly recommend that. So there's a lot in the gaming area, but my friend had to go back to work because she worked for the masquerade, and Lucas and I wandered around until I basically had to tap out. I had gotten almost no sleep the night before, and I was tired. I was just running on fumes. So I parted ways with Lucas. I went and I got myself a hamburger, and I went upstairs to the hotel room. I ate my burger. I hanged out for a little bit with Rich and with Kyle because they were both sort of in the room. So because of the rain, they couldn't shoot at the fountain. So there is an area there's a giant step and repeat pattern there, and so they had shot there. Individual people would be shooting inside the lobby. So Rich was changing for that. Kyle was there because he needed a break, I guess. I can't remember. So I spent some time with them, and then I curled up and I went to sleep. When I woke up, I had every intention of going to the masquerade that night. I always go to the Comic-Con or the WonderCon masquerade. I usually get a kick out of seeing the costumes and the skits and the dances and all of that. But as it got closer and closer to me having to get redressed to go out, I just was losing steam. And here's another pro tip. Know your limits. When you get to a point that you just have to know when it's time to go. And I feel kind of bad because my Saturday of WonderCon, I just didn't have a lot of energy to do a lot of stuff. It is what it is, but I had to know my limits. I had to know what was best for me and what was going to work for me. I highly recommend going to the masquerade, either at Comic-Con or WonderCon. Just, know your limits. Anyway, so I spent the night I ordered in Chinese food with Marcy, and I ended up watching movies on the TV, and she was in and out because she was going to various nighttime stuff, and she'd come back in, she'd check on me, and, it was all good, and then slowly, everybody sort of started filtering back, except for Rich, because he was only up there and had left earlier in the day to go home. But Marcy and Kyle sort of filtered back, and then eventually Ellie came back because she had gone to the masquerade and she had shot footage for me. So all of the footage you're seeing of the masquerade is footage that she has shot. And I greatly, greatly appreciate her doing that because I had, like I said, Zippo energy to do much of anything that night. I did pack up. I got everything out and ready for the next day. And because the next day I knew in the morning was going to be kind of busy. So day 3, we got up. It's Easter morning. Kyle had gotten up early, so he'd gotten up, gotten dressed, gone down, had breakfast. They were doing a Easter brunch that started at 6 and ran until 2. And so he had gone down and he had that, and come back up. So we basically finished getting ready and packing. I was done relatively quickly except for doing like my hair and my makeup, because I was wearing a wig that day, which I think I look very fetching in. As you can see some of the pictures of me. So we did all that. We were done fairly early, so we called a bellman to come and load all of our stuff up onto a cart. This is where the fun starts. So the bellman takes it down, gives us the ticket, and just, take it over to the bell desk when you're ready. Okay, great. So Ellie and I went to Sunday brunch. That was our one-on-one time. I got one-on-one time with everybody throughout the night. Throughout the weekend, I should say. So we went down, we had brunch, and then my cousin texted me. She's like, oh, I should be there in 10 minutes. And it was cool. We're wrapping up breakfast. So we finished doing that. Ellie went off to the convention. Mercy's already off at the convention. Kyle's there. We go and we try and get the luggage. It's a half-hour wait. There's nowhere to park in the underhang, or the overhang, I should say, in front of the hotel. So my cousin has to do a round. She comes back. Valet parking is full. And we had kind of counted on that because we were just going to shove all of our stuff into the car, throw it into valet, and go off to the convention. By the time we got the luggage and we got it all packed, because God bless my saint of a cousin, we had a lot of stuff. And when you converted her SUV to fit all of us for seating, there wasn't enough room for all of us, for all of our luggage. It was a lot of luggage. In part because we did have a air mattress and a suitcase of bedding for the air mattress. So once we got it all in there, and she tried to park and couldn't park in the hotel because I hadn't given her a key. And so she ended up parking in the convention center parking lot. I was already at this point going to be late if I didn't head off soon to my panel. So I headed off to my panel, and she went off to get her badge and her daughter's badge, my cousin Lucy's badge. She is a saint for putting up with us, because she did not expect what went on with the getting the luggage into the car and the parking situation. And I had just never thought about it, because I very rarely deal with that, because I'm always staying with somebody. Somebody else is always driving. It's always kind of known, or I'm taking public transportation. So, I just get my stuff from bag check or the hotel or whatever, and then I just take an Uber over to the train station, train station. So it had never dawned on me to kind of warn her that it would be crazy and that it's my fault. But she was super nice and super gracious. We're really there so that my cousin Lucy could have a good time and she could go. So we go off with Lucy after my panel, which went off well. It's a Disney bounding. There's already one on the channel. You can check that out. This one isn't any different really from the last one. But I did film it and we'll have footage of it. So after we did that, I hung out with Lucy and with Kelly for a little bit. We wandered around. Again, knowing your limits. At some point, Lucy was just like, hey, I'm done. I don't really have the spoons to kind of deal with anything else here. And it's a lot. It is a lot of people, and it's a lot going on, especially when you consider that all the photography had been moved inside into the lobby and stuff. There's just a lot of stimulation. So, we called it. We gathered the troops together. We, got to the car and crammed ourselves into the car, which was special. It was very special. Okay, so day 3 is over. We are headed home. We are so squished in there. There's Kyle. And then my cousin Kelly is driving. And once we got everybody in, a lot of us had to sit with stuff on our laps or in between seats, because there was just so much stuff. But everybody was super, super nice, super, chill with it. It was a lot. I swear it was like I had never been to a con before, which normally I plan out all my stuff very meticulously, and normally I'm a lot smarter than to put sharp objects in my leg. The only other time I've ever seriously cut myself with a sharp object was because I was running on little to no sleep, and I was super stressed out, and I managed to cut my pinky finger open cutting some mangoes. So it was a crazy weekend, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I had so much fun. And I got to spend time with my friends, and that's really why I go to cons. I go to cons because I like the stuff that is at the con. I like costumes, and I like board games and D&D, and I like, oh, I forgot. We ran into a giant velociraptor. This guy's costume is quite literally a giant velociraptor, which is distinct from Blue from Jurassic Park for copyright reasons, but looks like Blue from Jurassic Park. And it was really cool. He even makes noises. Like, awesome. Absolutely loved the convention. Had a great time. 9 out of 10 would do again. If you have not gone, I really recommend going. WonderCon is Comic-Con's little sister. It is all of Comic-Con, but smaller. You know, with the exceptions, I don't think we get quite as much media type stuff. It is still more comic book based than Comic-Con is. Comic-Con has just become so media based, but WonderCon is still not media based, and it's still, you know, much more comic booky. But it is great, and I had so much fun. I 100% would do it again. Will do it again. I think we decided that we were going to try and get a corner room so it had a little bit more room, so that the air mattress would fit in there a little bit better, and that we weren't like tripping over each other's luggage and stuff. You know, it was a great time, and I hope that you join me in going to WonderCon. If you have any thoughts or opinions on WonderCon or any convention tips that you think I should know about, please leave them in the comments. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me for WonderCon 2024. Tell me what you thought, and if you have any comments or anything like that. If you're going to be at WonderCon this year, please, you're 2025. If you're going to be at WonderCon in 2025, come and see me. I have stickers that I'll be giving away, and I would just love to talk to you. All right, bye-bye.